Bharatam Mahabharatam Dharma Adharma Sangharshanam.
Drishtadyumna divided the Pandava army methodically. He gave instructions about which unit of the army should be in the van, which unit should be in the middle, and which should be in the rear. He also sized up each leader and each unit and their enthusiasm and decided whom they were to confront in the enemy ranks. He gave his soldiers badges with a distinct emblem so that the Pandava soldiers could be recognized. He told them the code words to be used in various situations. The two armies stood waiting for word from their commanders, the Pandava army occupying the western part and the Kaurava army the eastern part of Kurukshetra. The leaders of the two armies met before the fighting began and drew up the code governing the conduct of the war. A Rathika, one who fights from a chariot, shall fight only with a Rathika, and an elephant rider with an elephant rider, a horse rider with a horse rider, and the infantry with the infantry. Every warrior shall choose his equal for a fight. Anyone who surrenders or retires from the battle or is without armor and weapons shall not be killed. The fighting shall stop at sunset. Those who supply arms to warriors or those who would blow the conches to instill zeal in the warriors shall not be harmed. No hatred shall linger between the two of us once the war is over. The present hostility shall end, and after the fight has stopped in the evening until it begins the next morning, the two parties shall treat each other with amity. Having drawn up this code, the leaders returned to their places. Dhritarashtra wished to have detailed news of what was happening on the battlefield. Vyasa Maharshi appeared and granted Sanjaya a divine sight. Thereafter, Sanjaya could see from where he was everything that was going on the battlefield. He narrated in detail all that he witnessed. So, Dhritarashtra learnt whatever happened on the battleground. It was commotion everywhere on the morning of the battle. The words and instructions and comments by the leader of the two armies filled the air. Come, come, harness the horses to the chariot. Line up, all of you. Let that unit come here. No sound of conches is heard here. These soldiers aren't wearing the badges properly. Such loud utterances were heard. The very skies echoed the ear-splitting sounds of the conch, drums and kettle drums sounded by the brave soldiers, the neighing of horses, the trumpeting of elephants, and the shouts of victory sent forth by the soldiers mixed with these. Yudhishthira stood in front of his army and announced at the top of his voice, "Let anyone who wishes to join our party, the party of righteousness in this war, come to us. I welcome all such persons." Yuyutsu, one of the sons of Dhritarashtra, stepped out of the ranks of the Kaurava army and joined the Pandavas. Bhishma and Drishtadyumna, the supreme commanders of the Kaurava army and the Pandava army respectively, arranged their hosts in formations. Kuru heroes like Drona, Kripa and Ashwathama, and Pandava heroes like Yudhishthira, Bhimasena, Satyaki and Drishtaketu ascended their chariots with standards of various colors and took up the positions indicated by their commanders. Arjuna ascended the divine chariot which God Agni had presented to him at the time of the burning of the Khandavavana. The most venerable of the venerable, Sri Krishna himself was the charioteer. The steeds were white in color, the standard was roseate like the dawn, and in the standard was present Anjaneya. When the two armies were ready for the battle, Bhishma sent forth a leonine roar and blew his conch. Thousands of conches, drum kettles and other instruments of martial valor were sounded by the Kaurava army. In turn, the Pandava army sounded similar instruments. Sri Krishna blew his Panchajanya, Arjuna his Devadatta, Yudhishthira the Ananta Vijaya, Bhima the Poundra, Nakula the Sughosha and Sahadeva the Manipushpaka. Drishtadyumna, Satyaki, Chekitana, Drupada, Virata, Abhimanyu and the Upapandavas also blew their conches. Arjuna wished to have a look at the leaders of the enemy army standing in battle array and asked Sri Krishna to station his chariot in the middle of the battleground. Sri Krishna did so. Arjuna surveyed the scene around him. Whom did he see? His brothers, Duryodhana, Dushasana and others, his grandfather Bhishma, his preceptors Drona and Kripa, his companion Ashwathama, his uncle Shalya. Terrible. Was he to fight with these? Were they Pandavas to rule over the kingdom after slaughtering these? How unjust! He was in agonies. He unburdened his anguish to Sri Krishna and said, Sri Krishna, I will not fight. He put down his Gandiva and sat passively. Sri Krishna smiled at Arjuna's words. He thought, how queerly do even exceptionally valiant persons behave. Had not Arjuna faced the same Kuru army in Viratanagara? Why has he developed this excessive attachment now? He then addressed Arjuna. Arjuna, your words astonish me. Such infatuation only brings infamy to the best of men. Why did it infect you? A valiant fight in a war becomes a hero. If he wins, he secures royal grandeur. If he dies, he will go to the heaven of the brave. Let us assume that you will now spare this Kuru army. Will these persons become immortal? Or will your magnanimity make you immortal? No. He who is born must die. Therefore, it is futile to weep for the dead. Arjuna, it is only the external body that dies, but the soul within the body does not die. It is deathless. Just as we discard old clothes and put on new ones, the soul discards an old body and enters a new one. Your arrows will kill only the bodies of the Kauravas, not their souls. Their souls will enter other bodies and animate them. That is why those who come to be recognized as Sthita Prajnas, those of firm consciousness, who are not moved by adversity, who are not interested in happiness, and who are free from lust, wrath, and greed, do not rejoice over birth or grieve over death. Be a Sthita Prajna on the battlefield. Arjuna, karma means work. It is inseparable from life. Breathing, eating, mixing with friends, every one of these is natural work, is it not? Do your work in a natural manner. To put down the wicked is your duty. As a Kshatriya, if you waver just because they are elders or relatives, you will be failing in your duty. Your duty is to fight. That is the karma you have to perform. But he who performs the duty which devolves upon him should expect no reward. If you entertain any such expectation, your action becomes tainted. Therefore, perform your actions without expectation of reward. You have only the right to act, not the right to seek a reward. Do not perform any action with expectation of reward, and do not fail to act just because you will receive nothing in return. Karma is the means to achieve Atma Yoga. Devotion, bhakti, knowledge, jnana, renunciation, sannyasa, all are subsumed in karma. The Vairagi or Karma Yogi is the man who gives no thought to the results of his actions but is engaged in performing actions. Such a yogi surpasses tapasvis and masters of the Vedas. Arjuna, it is not as if you and I and all these kinsmen and friends around us did not exist before or will not exist in the future. Only you do not remember and you know not the future. It is certain that he who is born must die. It is equally certain that he who dies will be born again. Therefore, grieve not for anyone's death. Arjuna, I am insisting that you should slay Duryodhana and the other wicked persons in this war because it is my duty to destroy the wicked. I assumed this birth in order to kill unrighteous men like Kamsa, Shishupala and Dantavakra. In the same way, it is my duty to destroy the Kauravas who have taken to the path of evil. Only I am achieving this object through all of you. Therefore, none of you is responsible for their deaths. They are bringing their ruin upon themselves. Do not grieve. I have appeared in many incarnations before this. In the future also, I will assume various forms. Whenever dharma declines on earth, I will appear, punish the wicked, protect the righteous and establish dharma. Partha, are you surprised to hear that I have been born to establish dharma? You are perhaps curious to know who I am. Arjuna, I am Vishnu, the preserver of creation. Brahma, the creator, and Ishvara, the destroyer, are parts of myself. Dwadashadityas, the Ekadasha Rudras, the Ashtavasus, the Yakshas, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, the Marudganas, the gods, the stars, the sun and the moon are all within me. I am Brihaspati, the preceptor of the gods. I am Skanda, the commander of the army. I am Bhrigu Maharshi. I am sage Narada. I am the Om, which is the Pranava. There is nothing animate or inanimate, including you, the Pandavas, and the Kauravas, which is not in me. Having said these words, Sri Krishna revealed his cosmic form. Arjuna saw in Sri Krishna, whose form now touched both the earth and the sky, all the gods including the sun and the moon, all human beings, all animals, worlds, stars, mountains, oceans and rivers. Then Sri Krishna said, Arjuna, give up attachment, fight, do your duty and earn a good name. The advice Sri Krishna gave and his cosmic form thrilled Arjuna. He bowed to Sri Krishna and said, Sire, the attachment which had befogged me has now been cured. I will fight as you instructed me. So saying, Arjuna addressed himself to his task. The counsel vouchsafed to Arjuna by Sri Krishna, who is God, is known as the Bhagavad Gita. It is a veritable nectar of wisdom. With their leonine roar and the blowing of the conch by Bhishma for the Kauravas and Drishtadyumna for the Pandavas, the war began. Each side rained arrows and missiles on the other. The mighty ones of both sides engaged in duels of various types. Some engaged in sword fight, some in mace fight, and others resorted to bows and arrows. Sparks flew in the clash of swords. Maces clashed with the sounds of thunderbolts. As bowmen bent the bows and sent forth arrows, soldiers of the opposing army fell down dead. There was the unceasing twang of bows, and an unceasing flow of arrows followed. In the duels, Arjuna engaged Bhishma, Bhimasena engaged Duryodhana, Satyaki engaged Kritavarma, Nakula engaged Dushasana, Sahadeva engaged Durmukha, the son of Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira engaged Shalya, Abhimanyu engaged Brihadbala, Drishtadyumna engaged Drona. The Upapandavas, the sons of Draupadi, engaged the king of Trigarta, and the Uttamauja engaged Kripacharya. The chariots, elephants, horses and infantry were all engaged in the battle. The soldiers on either side attacked as if they were intoxicated. Everywhere there were arrows, lances, spears, ankushas and axes flying in the air and descending on soldiers. The soldiers sometimes scattered, unable to face the assault, but they would organize themselves and counterattack. They would send forth martial shouts, drums, kettle drums, trumpets, horns, and other instruments were sounded as the battle raged. Warriors dashed chariots against chariots and broke yokes. Intoxicated elephants charged at elephants in the enemy army and cleaved the bodies into two. The elephants heard by the elephants and warriors trumpeted in anguish. Others ran helter-skelter, sending forth terrible sounds of agony. Thousands of soldiers were trampled underfoot, and there was a veritable ceremony of human sacrifice. Soldiers of the cavalry threw lances and killed horses and soldiers. They made their steeds leap over enemy chariots. The armors of cavalrymen were pierced by the powerful weapons of the enemies on horses, and their bodies were torn to pieces. When these warriors fell to the ground, the horses ran about as if they were mad. Foot soldiers ran about eager to slaughter enemies, with swords and bows and axes and maces in their hands. As they whirled the swords in their hands, the heads of enemies which were cut off fell to the ground. Some soldiers fought on even after parts of their bodies had been cut into pieces. Thus, thousands of soldiers fell dead. Some were cruelly wounded and were rolling in pain. Those caught under the legs of elephants or thrown down by horses were writhing in pain and crying piteously. Both sides suffered huge loss of lives on the first day. Shalya killed Uttarakumara and Bhishma killed Shweta, the commander of Virata's army.